Good morning, everyone. I got a request for a little bit of help with the JavaScript graphics on some of your drawings. Now, I am going to pick one that I'm going to give you kind of a tutorial for, and hopefully it'll help you figure out the others. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you out with the fried egg particular example. So to get these started, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a couple of items. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the circle part of my pan. So I'm going to go to there. So it's going to create a variable, and I'm going to call it pan outside, because I'm going to create two layers within my pan. I'm going to create an outside and an inside layer. And to create that, I'm going to make a new circle. And I'll just set it to about 200 pixels, so that should be a pretty good size. Now, let's make sure that this looks the way that I want. So I'm going to go pan outside dot set position. And I want it to be right in the middle. So I'm going to get the width of the canvas, and then I'm going to divide that by 2, because that'll give me the center on the width. And then I'm going to do get height on the canvas, and again, divide that by 2, and that'll center it on the canvas itself. And then let's do add pan outside. So let's make sure that looks the way that I want it to. Okay, pan outside. Set position is not a function. Okay, I think that needs to be a capital P. Let me double check. There we go. Oh, so that's a little bit bigger than I wanted it to be, because I won't be able to see my handle. So let's shrink that down to 150 pixels. Oh, that's much better. All right, so let's go ahead and now make our handle. We're going to do create a variable called handle. And for this one, we're going to need a new rectangle. Oops. There we go. Rectangle. And I want my rectangle to be about 150 pixels long and 30 pixels wide. And I'm going to do handle dot set position, and I'm going to put it right in the center of my screen. So I'm going to borrow that get width and height right here, and that should place it right there in the middle. We're going to go to add handle. Okay. All right, now, okay. So something happened here. I can see my handle just barely poking out right here. It's sort of colored the same. So I'm going to really quickly just set the color for my handle. I'm going to come back and fix this a little bit later, but I'm going to set the color to color.gray so that I can actually see what I'm working with here. All right, now that handle is not where I want it to be. I need it to get a little bit farther over. So let's try, instead of doing get width divided by 2, let's delete that and see what happens. All right, so it disappears. So it's somewhere off of my canvas, so let's put that back. All right, so I want it a little bit farther over. So what I could do is, instead of trying to adjust the position, let's just make it longer. Let's do 300 as our width, and now it extends off the side. And I can change this color back to black. And there is my panhandle. All right, so that looks really good. I had to play around with that a little bit. Now let's make the inner ring of my pan. So I'm going to create a pan inside, and I'm going to create a new circle. And I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller than my pan outside. And so I'm going to reuse this code right here, because I want my pan inside to sit just inside my pan outside. So I'm going to copy all of that, and I'm just going to change this part. Pan inside will sit there, and now let's add our pan inside section. Run that. Oh, I forgot one thing. It's there, but it's all black. So I'm going to change that color. I want it to be gray. So we're going to go pan inside dot set color. Make sure you do a capital there. And then we'll do color dot gray. And very good. All right, so far so good. Now that is my actual pan and the handle, and that's all working just fine. Now let's go ahead and get into the egg. Now I'm gonna, for this example, create a really simple egg. It doesn't have to look as complicated as you saw in the picture. So I'm gonna create two circles. One of them is gonna be called the egg white. We're gonna do new circle. And since our pan is quite large, 130 pixels, let's go for like a 60 pixel egg white. We don't want anything too crazy. And we'll create now our egg yolk. And we'll create a new circle for that. And we want our yolk to be about half as big as our white, so I'll set my radius to 30. Okay. Now we need it in position. So all of this code is putting it right in the middle and then setting its color. So I'm going to reuse that here. And instead of pan inside, I'm going to set that to egg white and set my color to white. And then I will copy all of that again. And we'll set it to egg yolk. Oops. I want to make sure that those are the correct ones. And then I want my egg yolk to be yellow. And then you can't forget to add in your pieces. Oops. Add egg white and add egg yolk. And when I run it, oh, egg white, not pan white. Oh, I did it down here too. I was getting too fast. All right, and there is my fried egg. Now, I could make this a little bit more creative where I could add multiple circles and just name them like egg yolk 1, 2, 3, 4, but this gets you at least started. So as you're working with them, the most challenging part of this is the positioning, the get width and get height. That's where you're going to have the hardest time kind of playing around with that. So just be aware, when you have a get width and you're dividing by 2, that is setting it in the center of the screen widthwise. When you do get height divide by 2, it's setting it in the center of the screen vertical wise. Now let's say I wanted my egg yolk to be a little bit different. What if I divided by 3 on each of these? It's going to change the positioning of my egg within the pan. So check this out. So now it's all the way over here on the edge of the pan, almost falling off the pan. So maybe I don't want it to be 3, maybe I want it to be 4. And see how that kind of changes. Now I think that's actually going to fall completely off the pan. Okay, so that actually moved a little bit farther off. So maybe I want my widths to be 3 and my heights to be 4. See, that's going to change things up just a little bit more. You can do different combinations of numbers to get them to move around, but this is what you're going to do if you're creating multiple circles to create that egg white effect. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful. Play around with it, get creative with the getting the width and height. Now, one last thing that I wanted to show you. If you're having a hard time remembering everything, there is this section over here called Docs. If you click here, you're going to see this section called Graphics. It has everything you need for your canvas. It gives you your commands like get width and get height. It reminds you how to set position, so like circle.set position. It is a built-in tutorial. So if you can't remember how to create something, this is available to you at all times. And I do encourage you guys to go ahead and use that. If you have any other questions following this, please let me know.